Fwamba FC Fwamba, NC Fwamba, Fwamba NC Fwamba. You never told me the name.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. The undercarriage of the flight RAO 001 has been opened, and military officers there are ready to receive the remains of the former Prime Minister. The caskets carrying the remains of the former Prime Minister will be in view in a few moments, and it will be loaded onto that carriage. Being received there by military officers. President William Ruto available already at the airport to receive the body of his co-principal in the broad-based arrangement, his rival turned friend over the last 1 year, a man that the president has depended on for a very long time now to steer this country and to stabilize the political dynamics following the crisis that faced his administration last year. Now the president having to lead the nation in mourning this same gentleman through a state funeral that will culminate in his interment on Sunday in Opoda Farm, Bondo, Siaya County. These are live pictures, and I'm sure the whole country is just watching. This gentleman who has been so consequential in Kenya's politics over so many decades is now no more. And now he's being transported on the very first day of the national mourning, 7 days of national mourning, for his final interment. These are scenes that have never been seen before. I think even when the Vice President Wamalwa Kijana was flown back from London after his death, we did not have a lot of the technology that we have currently. So even the media reporting was slightly different. But this time around, all this is playing out live. Social media, mobile phones, we could see even inside the plane that was carrying the team that had actually traveled all the way to India. Bwana Fwamba, how does this make you feel? Just your initial comments.
It is indeed a very sad day for the country because none of us expected that Right Honorable Raila Odinga was going to leave us this soon. And before I proceed with my comments, I'd like to send my condolences to the family, especially Mama Ida and Rosemary, Winnie, and Raila Jr. and the ODM fraternity and the entire country were indeed all affected by the death of Right Honorable Raila Odinga. For me, I think it's an end of an era and the beginning of another one, because Raila has been like part and parcel of the Kenyan politics for more than 40 years. Because the first experience of hearing about Raila Odinga is traced back to the time he was detained after the 1982 coup. Mm-hmm. He was detained without trial and is considered the person who has served as a detainee longer than many other detainees that suffered under the Moi regime, because he was released in 1989, detained again, released again, detained again in 1991, until he had to escape to Norway. Of course, I heard Moses Kitwe giving testimony that he had to cover him and to make him look like an old, poor woman, so that he could not be recognized. Walking all that journey and later becoming a statesman has not been easy for him. For me, my own experience, the first time I saw Raila Odinga was in 1994. Mm-hmm. I was in class 8 at that time. So they came for the funeral of Dr. Frederick Masinde, who came from my home village. Dr. Frederick Masinde, who was the MP for Mathare, the one who was elected posthumously. And it was so easy to pick out Raila's speech from others. Remember at that time Jaramogi died and Wamalwa Kijana was the acting chairman of Ford Kenya. But Raila was also working hard to strategically inherit the position of his father Jaramogi Odinga, mm-hmm. in terms of political persuasion and in terms of political party leadership. So I could hear the cheers. In as much as that was Wamalwa's stronghold, the cheers for Raila were so high. Never did I know that he was ever going to emerge to the levels of becoming Kenya's prime minister and even becoming the greatest politician of our time that he has been. There are many ways of looking at how his life has been. Of course, it is said that there's no one who is absolutely right, because in political life, you are supposed to agree with some people and disagree with some people. But one very unique thing about Raila is that he was always ready to negotiate with his worst of enemies. No one ever imagined that Raila will ever have a conversation with Daniel Arap Moi. By the time he decided to join KANU or work with KANU in 1998, 99 there, people never expected that, because having been tortured under the Moi regime, it was believed that it was going to have a permanent grudge against Daniel Arap Moi. But eventually they worked together. Then eventually, in 2005, after they had fallen out with Kibaki, no one ever expected that he was ever going to work together with Kibaki. Then he worked with Kibaki under the Grand Coalition, when he decided to forego his ambition of fighting in the 2007 post-election violence and decided that the nation comes first. For him, he has been consistent in terms of pursuing his political interests, which is primary for every politician, and also pursuing national interests. And that's why you saw him working with Kibaki, whom he had disagreed with. Then he worked with Uhuru again, whom they had disagreements. They had a serious fallout out of elections in 2013 and 2017. Then, surprisingly, in 2022, we were so sure that Raila was going to win the election, especially for us who were in Azimio. Okay. When he lost, he still embraced President Ruto, and that's very encouraging.
Allow me to cut you short. Those are live pictures from the JKI. We can see Raila Odinga's daughter, Winnie Odinga, carrying the famous hat that her father wore. And this is significant even for Winnie. I've seen from all the videos that we've received from India that she kept on carrying that hat, placing it on the casket, carrying the remains of her departed father. Now we are seeing the team of which she was part of that had gone to India to repatriate the remains of the former Prime Minister disembarking from the plane. This team was led by none other than the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi. These are live pictures. We're seeing members of this team disembarking from the plane. Part of his security team, the bodyguard who was with the former Prime Minister when he died. And you can imagine what he is feeling, that that was his job. He traveled all the way as an aide to the former Prime Minister, and now he's disembarking from the plane alone without the person he went to protect and to assist there. These are some moments that you cannot even comprehend the kind of emotions that most of these people are feeling or going through, members of the Odinga family, people who worked closely